What's up, guys? I'm back to explain the second part of the actions of erasers. If you haven't watched the first part, watch it now, because there will be absolutely no recaps. Um, yeah. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you watched the last video, you know I have a script for this, and as you can tell, this intro does not have a script, but you don't care. You just want to see. You're just here for the story, right? Yeah, I hope. On to the story. The two hands thought and thought about what they were gonna do until one hand thought of something apocalyptic. It had no name. The hands were going to start the irreversible curse, or stick for sure. Short, they were gonna stick. While Eraser and the gang were sleeping, the two hands took them to where the monster was last awoken. And the hands decided to call it Stick. I don't know. The place where they summoned Stick was a mossy stone circle that blended in with the grass. There was a pile of sticks in the center, and there were faces carved in the stone that supposedly changed when Stick was summoned. Then they summoned Stick, which woke up Eraser the game. The two hands expected Stick to rise from the fire and grow 20 feet with a nightmarish form. Instead, they were met with a still tall, colorful, not scary giant. Walls shot out of the floor, creating a tall and circular room. Eraser, Pencil, Mr. Zip, and Headphones finally woke up and saw Stick. The two hands expected them to be frightened, but instead, the gang took a few seconds to see what they were up against. Then they got ready. The hands thought it was over and started to leave, until Mr. Zip showed weakness due to his lack of carcass. Everyone turned their focus to him. Everyone except Stick. Stick started the fight. Eraser, Pencil, and Headphones fought Stick, and Eraser supposedly took the final blow. Then, Stick transformed into his nightmarish form. Stick also then performed his spin move that killed the people who last tried to kill him. Stick grabbed Eraser and the gang and proceeded to spin as fast as possible. Pencil had an idea, so she told Eraser to grab her. Eraser grabbed Pencil as they both freed themselves from Stick's grip. They both flew straight into Stick's heart. Stick froze. Then Stick sank into the sticks and dragged the hands with him. Yeah, Stick. After that night, Pencil and Eraser would take turns staying awake to guard the treehouse. It was Pencil's turn, so Eraser took a little walk. Eraser walked to the cliffside I mentioned last video and found something shocking. Pen was somehow still alive in a cave. But since Eraser was so sleep deprived, he thought he was dreaming. Eraser went closer, but then Pen stabbed Eraser and injected him with her blood, which was filled with nightmare fuel. All of Eraser's emotions showed at the same time. Then Eraser felt as if he wasn't in control, and he felt nothing. After a few days, Pencil noticed Eraser kept walking to the cliffside cave, and she wanted to know what was going on. So she followed Eraser to the cave and saw Pen giving her blood to Eraser. Pen was trying to fully take control of Eraser so that she could kill Pencil. Pen's plan was ruined. Then Eraser turned around and his face was just demonic. Eraser tackled Pencil into the water, which wasn't good for Pen, because most of her blood was in Eraser, which means Pen was extremely vulnerable. Pencil was being hunted down by Eraser. She tried to tell Eraser that Pen was the evil one, but then Eraser stopped. Eraser redirected his focus to Pen, who was running away. Pen tried to hide, but Eraser found her. Pen could no longer control Eraser, so Eraser just smacked Pen until she was knocked out. Then Eraser decided to use Pen as a sword. Pencil thought that she was safe until she saw Eraser running towards her. Pencil went to the treehouse. While looking for a place to hide, Pencil gets distracted by Mr. Zip. He was bearing the effects of his lack of Carfus. Then, Pencil realized that if Eraser found Mr. Zip, he'd kill him for sure. So, Pencil got headphones. When Eraser popped out, her headphones stabbed him with his charger, and Eraser was electrocuted. He was electrocuted because when headphones eat, his food turns into electricity. After that, Eraser started chasing headphones. Eraser eventually caught up to him, and he started biting him. Then, Pencil knocked the wind out of him, releasing all of Pen's blood. Then, Pen's blood started flowing behind the tree. Pencil and Eraser find Pen behind the tree and stabbed her. But then, Mr. Zip sadly passed away due to his lack of Carfus. Yeah. Eraser. Pencil and Eraser finally just decided to make Headphones guard the treehouse. Headphones gladly accepted because he was created to start a hobby. He would landscape, grow food, cook food, and today he was going to guard the treehouse. Then, Eraser and Pencil saw something odd. Blending in with all of Mr. Zip's stuff, there sat a walkie-talkie. And then, Ratty from last video started speaking on the walkie-talkie. He says, "Hey guys, so me and Lefty kind of found something. We need you guys to come over." Eraser and Pencil decided to leave Headphones and go to Righty's place. Over there, Eraser and Pencil see a portal. They decide to go through it. Then, Pencil and Eraser ended up in a lab of some sort. In there, they met Lefty and Righty for the first time in forever. Pencil told Righty about the message that he supposedly sent her and Eraser, but Righty didn't actually send that message. Eraser and Pencil wanted to leave, but then the portal disappeared. Lefty then explains that he found a device that lets him plant portals. The device acts like a metal detector, telling where a portal can be planted. Then, Lefty planted a portal in a room. Everyone decided to go through it, but Lefty and Righty especially would soon regret that. Well, also Pencil, yeah, whatever. Then, everyone ended up on a rocky platform in space. Confused, they began exploring their surroundings. That was when Righty asked for the portal device. When Righty got his fingers on it, he destroyed it. Everyone obviously shouted at Righty, but Righty was standing right next to Lefty, which means Righty didn't actually break the portal device. Everyone turned back to quote unquote Righty, only for him to open his eye. He was actually evilly. Then everyone turned to see a black hole. Evilly wanted a final battle. The more destruction that was made, the bigger the black hole grew. Once it grew big enough, it would swallow everyone whole. Then, ruined buildings shot out of the ground, separating everyone. Lefty and Righty eventually met up to do what they do best. Meanwhile, Eraser and Pencil got lost. Then, out of nowhere, some fingers grabbed onto Pencil and Eraser and got into their mind. Pencil was forced into an interview by Evilly. At first, the question seemed normal, but somehow still intimidating. Until Evilly asked Pencil if she actually loved Eraser. Pencil didn't think that this was happening, but it was. The worst part was that Eraser was forced to watch the conversation on a screen. Pencil thought that it would be better if she just said it, so she did. She explained that while she spent her time with Eraser, she never found him interesting in the slightest. All that she did for Eraser was save him, which sounds heroic, but all pencils do that. The only difference was that Eraser got attached to Pencil, and she didn't want anything to do with him. That sounds like an exaggeration, but it's true. Pencil wanted to date a Pencil, like her parents encouraged. But since the flood drove them away from the Pencil village, Pencil had to stay with Eraser. The reason why Pencil didn't tell Eraser earlier was because that he was just very brave. Without Eraser, Pencil would probably be dead. Then, Pencil and Eraser both woke up. Pencil couldn't help but just cry. She finally understood why Evilly brought them here. As for Eraser, he just sat there, speechless, until something appears out of the shadows. But not just something, someone. Out of nowhere, an old friend steps out of the shadows. The one and only Pen. Eraser's mind was far from empty. He didn't want to think that this was a hallucination, because the last time he thought that, he almost ended up killing the love of his life. But then he started thinking if Pencil was still the love of his life. Now. Then, Pen started telling Eraser that without Pencil, he could maybe give her a chance again. After Eraser refused, Pen began to show what her nightmare fuel could really do. Pen turned herself into Eraser's friends and started torturing Eraser mentally. Pen then stopped. She disappeared to go see Pencil again. While Pencil was sobbing, Pen found her. Pen convinced Pencil that she killed Eraser. Pencil stopped tearing. Pen noticed and said, "Wow, I thought you were faking. So, do you think she should have gave me a chance?" Before she could finish her sentence, Pencil sliced her in half. Pen's body then floated down into space. Without Eraser, plus the whole battle going on, Pencil felt sad. Then, Pencil remembered a childhood dream she had. Young Pencil wanted to become an astronaut. So, she fulfilled her dream. if you know what I mean. Meanwhile, Evilly ended up throwing Lefty off the platform. Righty and Eraser wanted to finish this. Righty was fighting Evilly near the black hole, while Eraser was trying to make it bigger. Once Evilly caught on, it was too late. Eraser knocked on a wall and made the black hole bigger. Evilly tried to hang on, but he ended up getting sucked into it. Then, Righty and Eraser had nowhere to go. They lost all hope until Righty looked down to see Earth. Righty and Eraser decided to jump down. They didn't know if they were going to survive. Then, Righty realized that they were going very slowly. Eraser then noticed that Evilly might still be alive. But then, before Eraser could finish that sentence, the black hole exploded. My God, let these characters finish their sentences. Righty and Eraser shot towards Earth at a rapid speed. Then, they hit the ground hard. Headphones just sat there. Righty and Eraser both woke up. After they woke up, they met up with Lefty and Pencil. Righty was happy to meet up with Lefty. However, when Eraser met up with Pencil, it was awkward. But Pencil eventually met up with Eraser and explained to him that she was gonna do something for him to say sorry. Yeah. Hands. Well, yeah. I hope you liked the video. Yeah, the third part will be the last part, which will probably be my next upload. I don't know. So if you enjoyed, show this video some support. So if you want to see these kind of videos for the other characters on my channel, like I said last video, yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, and see ya later. Click on the next video, or just search the library of YouTube. Bye bye. Outro.